I couldn't get it fixed in India, so all I could do was air freight it to here, which is Dubai, where there is a Triumph dealer. I've now cleared customs and the bike is in the hands of a Triumph dealer. I have volunteered to work on it myself to help keep the costs down. So, what happens next? I guess it's just a question of moving as fast as I can to try and get the bike sorted. From Dubai I can go back into Iran and then maybe through Turkey and back through Europe. I might be able to get into Saudi and into Africa that way. I just don't know, it all depends on time. The critical issue obviously is getting the bike fixed. If I can't do that, I'll be coming home. We had the bike rebuilt and from there I needed to get out of the Emirates. I could have gone to Iran, but they were still considering my visa and did so for 5 weeks. I couldn't go to Saudi, so my only option was to get on a boat to Mombasa. This was going to be, I thought, a remarkable experience. I thought I was going to have to miss Africa altogether, and I dearly wanted to go there. It was a new continent, a total continent of discovery for me, and I had very few preconceived ideas of what it was going to be like. Mombasa was energetic and a lot of posturing people. I really enjoyed that. It was a really good experience. And from Mombasa I headed north on really quite reasonable roads to Mount Kenya. Behind me here's Mount Kenya. Unfortunately it's all shrouded in mist and rain clouds, so we can't get a really good shot of it. But it is quite dramatic. This is in, obviously, northern Kenya, and very high up. So it's very cold and chilly, and I've just been through a dreadful hailstorm, great big hailstones that really sting your hands and legs. I was glad I had a full face helmet on, they're just bouncing off all over the place. Tomorrow I anticipate to be quite a difficult day because I run out of road. And apparently it's quite dangerous. You have to travel in convoys all the way up to the Ethiopian border, but we will see when we get there. I should know a bit more tomorrow. You have to travel in convoy because of the bandits. It is very, very dangerous. I waited there until a convoy came along of 3 or 4 very, very overloaded trucks. I thought my only possible chance was to shed all my luggage and for me and the bike alone to tackle this. I bribed the truck driver, he took all my luggage, and my plan was to travel in front of the trucks so I didn't get all the dust. At the end of that particular ride I was absolutely exhausted, very thirsty. All I could buy was a bottle of warm beer and I was sitting there and a crowd forms around the bike as normal. I looked up and I just saw the crowd just disperse, and walking towards me there was a very, very tall, beautiful Maasai tribesman wearing his fluorescent red loincloth, and they wear a shawl over their shoulder. Following him were 2 very disturbing other warriors carrying machetes and bows and arrows with the arrow actually in place. I felt petrified. I thought they were coming to get me. He stood only a few feet away from me, and in a beautiful voice, well-spoken English, he said, "Are you from England?" I was amazed that he spoke the language for a start. I said yes. Then he asked, "Will John Major still be Premier after the next election?" I was absolutely dumbfounded. This is a man who I didn't expect to speak the same language as me. This is not the kind of landscape you'd expect for equatorial Ethiopia. We're right up in the Rift Mountain. It's actually beautiful when the fog isn't here, but right now it's a really dense fog. It's so thick that I can't see the potholes in front of me. They just come up and hit you. Northern Ethiopia was quite different from central Ethiopia. All the greenery went. It went slowly to scrubland and then into a vicious desert region. This was the seventh desert I crossed, but it's one that I got wet in on only a few occasions. The road was a dried up riverbed. In the winter it is a river, in the summer it's a road. I say a road, trucks are about, the big four-wheel drive trucks are about the only thing that can travel on them. There's just great boulders and heaps of soft sand everywhere. It was an education, a very enjoyable education. It was an eye-opener. I learned a great deal from the people. They were extremely friendly. They shared what little they had, and I would consider it the most difficult, traumatic, but enjoyable part of the journey. There was one particular road that I travelled for 6.5 hours, non-stop riding. I covered in 6.5 hours, 52 miles. It was the toughest day's work I'd ever done in my entire life. Returning home to familiar surroundings was quite a shock to the system. We do have an inborn heritage and culture which we've had all our lives, and we do have an affinity with our beginnings, our upbringing. Waking up in the same bed each morning was a novelty to start with. Now, frankly, it's getting a bit dull. I look upon this adventure as being a dress rehearsal for the real thing. Next time I'll get it right. Next time I might even take a map. I would do a different route. I would love to take the same motorbike because I don't believe that's ever been done before. I think once you start travelling, you can view it two ways. You can say, here is an adventure, I'm going to go out and do it, and when I get back, it will be over. For me, I hope it is the beginning. I've realised it's something that I enjoy doing, and I would like to keep that going. I'd like to keep travelling, keep writing, keep riding that motorbike.